Welcome, everyone, to our NCAA social series. I'm Andy Katz. On this episode of our show, I'll be joined by three high-profile men's basketball players, Kansas's Jalen Wilson, UCLA's Jaime Jaquez Jr., and Gonzaga's Drew Timme, on why they decided not to pursue the NBA and return to college basketball. And now joining me, Jalen Wilson from Kansas. And Jalen, we were in Chicago. And after I talked to you at the Combine, I was convinced you were staying in the draft, not going back to Kansas, but that was exactly what didn't happen. So what changed your mind?
Just after going through the whole process and learning a lot more than I did last year, I kind of just, looked back at, how my 2 seasons went here before. And I just kind of felt like I had more to give, more as just a player. Obviously after winning, it's like not much that you can do for the program, except for win another one, of course. But I just felt like personally I had more that I could accomplish just on my own. And, looking at my fellow teammates like, Christian, Ochai, Dave, guys who stayed 3-4 years, out of all the things, I've been here 4 years, but that was only my second year playing. So now that I'm going on year 4, this will be my 3rd year playing. So I felt like I had just more time to develop. And, looking at Ochai as a prime example, a guy who could have went last year and came back, and now he changed his life for the best. So I felt like just looking at those things, I had the same opportunity if I was to come back, and, that's what I did.
So what's interesting about Kansas is in this new era of NIL transfer portal, even prior to the pandemic, Kansas still had players who stayed for 3 or 4 years. It didn't leave after 1 for the most part. What is it about Kansas, the program, the athletic department, even pre-NIL and now even after, that makes it a good decision to stay?
I just think the atmosphere. You can't rush a place like this that you're getting a sold-out house no matter who you're playing. Playing a high school team, playing an NBA team, it's going to be the same atmosphere no matter what. And just that loyalty you get from this place, knowing what you're going to get every single night, every single early game that's 11 o'clock, snowing outside, we're still going to have all our fans there. And just with Coach Self, everything that he brings to the table as far as coaching on and off the court, it's just too many special things that this school offers that if you're not just 100%, like you have to go, like why not come back, get better, and just achieve more and more every single time you decide to step on that floor.
So tell me about the student athlete experience at Kansas and in the NCAA tournament this season. I know last season, bubble, we can't really judge what happened a year ago, but tell me what that experience was like this year and why that should maybe have more student athletes say, you know what, it's pretty good. I'm going to keep coming back.
Yeah, it's our student fan base is second to none. The way that they treat us, the way that we're just equipped with so many different resources on and off the court, just the availability of different people we can go and talk to about different things. All our lives are is basketball all day anyway. So when we want to branch out and talk to this or that person about, whatever's going on, we can. And it's just, you're never going to go a place where someone doesn't say hi, like a kid or, fans like adults. And, you'll never go somewhere without, a familiar face. Everyone here is kind of just real close. And that's what I really appreciate is about just, it's kind of just like a big family. And, I don't see you getting that any other place where it's just kind of just a whole city focused around, your sport and what you guys achieve. And especially after winning the championship, the love and support I've gotten now ever since coming back has just been insane. And, I love it all every single day. And, I wouldn't want to have it any other way like that.
So Jalen, your experience, how when a lot of people will say, college could be the best years of my life and, things that I'll remember the most. What is it about so far, this experience at Kansas, being a high level student athlete, that has been so memorable?
I think just being able to play like high level competition every single night and, having an atmosphere that the opposing team's coming into and they're like, wow. And we're like, yeah, I know people assume that we get used to it, but, every single day I go out there to play, I still get chills just seeing the fans and knowing what I have in front of me. And I think it's really underrated to have a place like this to support you like this. I remember playing against Texas for the Big 12 championship here for our last game of the season at home. And, after we won, I'm looking around like, man, like, this is going to be my last game. Like, I wasn't ready to, like, give that up yet because it's so special. I mean, when you get to the NBA, not a lot of fan bases are really there just to watch basketball. A lot are there just for publicity and going to a game and just saying that you're there. But these people, like, they camp out before the games. They're doing different things to show, like, the separation between fans and, like, real fan base who care about everything. It's just too many little things that come into play when you talk about our fans. I mean, they know everyone on the team head to toe. One of the most popular guys was Timm. I mean, he barely got to play, but when he did check in, I mean, the place just erupted. So just little things like that I've always appreciated.
What about the relationships that you're able to build at a place like Kansas as a high-profile student athlete that might be beneficial to you beyond your professional basketball playing career?
There's a lot. There's a lot. I mean, just with having the fan base that we do, there's a lot of different people that, approach us that, who would love to just, get to meet us and interact us. Because like you said, I mean, you never know who you're going to meet. You never know 20 years down the line when basketball is done dribbling that, oh, man, I met this guy in college and now he has opportunity for me, like, to do this, and that in the business world of things. So, no, there's definitely a lot of different, resources and people here that care and want to have us, in a successful spot after basketball because, after basketball, it's a completely new life. A lot of people aren't prepared for that and, just think about, oh, I'll know then. But, now I'm able to build a network with people who have a plan for themselves in the next couple of years. And then, 10, 20 years from now, somewhere I might be able to find my place in the same, building as them. So it's a lot.
And the alumni of the program, we saw this in New Orleans, from Paul Pierce down, there were so many former Kansas players, Danny Manning, that, were there and, feel that connection to this team. And, clearly there's a bond that can last in, who knows what kind of, potential business opportunities beyond basketball.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things I remember the most about just the Final Four was Paul Pierce come and talk to us, but Danny Manning came and talked to us before the game. And, it really just stuck out to see how much these people care about our program. I mean, I don't know the last time Danny's played here, what year. I'm sure it was, 80s. And just to see that, he's still watching us play and still keeping up with us. And then now we see after we won against Villanova, the game before UNC, I mean, it's just filled with alumni, and you just want to be a part of that, and want to be a part of the guys who say they won the championship. I mean, when you got Mario Chalmers in there talking to us, and you just want to be a part of that room, like the championship room, that just motivated us all. And now that I'm a part of that, and the whole team last year, now 10, 20 years from now, I can come back and talk to guys about the same things that they're feeling and going through being in the Final Four. So it's real special seeing those guys come back.
I mean, I know NIL has changed things, but at the same time, it's still a place you want to be. I mean, some places NIL may work, to make sure that someone comes back to college because maybe they weren't going to be a second round pick, or maybe they go somewhere else. But in this instance, it's a place you want to be. And so maybe that's an added incentive. How do you think NIL has changed more players like yourself returning to college basketball, whether it's at the current school or maybe another one?
I mean, for me, I've always been blessed not have to just absolutely need money. I mean, a lot of guys, are in a situation where they have to get to the NBA to pay for this, that, and their family. But now that, like you said, I mean, NIL has been able to help a lot of guys who may be in a position that can go to NBA, but maybe if they go back, raise their stock, raise a lot of different things. And, now it's more money presented to them there. So, having the availability to use our name now that we've been able to build it for now 3 years now, for me, is a blessing. I mean, I'd always say that we should be able to sell jerseys with our last name and pictures and jerseys or shirts with our face on it, different things like that. I feel like we've done a lot as athletes for the NCAA, just showcasing the entire sport. And, I feel like now that we have the time to give it back and, and earn money for ourselves, but also, just realize that it's not always about that part. Because, I chose Kansas because I want to be here and be a part of, everything that it was about. And I think that the NIL part is just a small piece that's, a reason why I may be intrigued to do this, and that. But at the end of the day, like, NIL is only going to go as far as your basketball goes. So I feel like you always just got to balance that. But it's definitely a great thing that they added.
Well, I appreciate it, Jalen. Can't wait to watch you next season. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And joining me now, UCLA's Jaime Jaquez Jr. Jaime, you are back in Westwood. It was a great announcement that you put forth about why you wanted to be back. Take me through that decision process and how you came to decide that this was the right move for you at this point in your career and your life.
It took a lot of time and a lot of thinking. After the season had ended, kind of just taking the time to soak in just the season and taking a couple of weeks just to, figure out what I really wanted to do. And I think, along with having to get surgery on my ankle, not finishing the season that we wanted to, in the way that we wanted to. And I think just coming back for me was probably the best interest in my mind. And, here I am getting ready for my senior season.
So let's discuss why things have changed, because you're not alone in this kind of a decision. It used to be that players who, potentially could be late first, maybe second, maybe undrafted, they would still take that chance, whether they hurt their ankles or not.
Yeah.
Why do you think things have changed to where more players like yourself that aren't top 10, top 15 picks have decided to come back?
I think that's a really good question. And I think a lot of that just has to do with, their personal interests and what they want to do. And I also think that college basketball is very big. And due to the NIL opportunity, there's a lot of opportunities for guys to be able to make some money here in college as well. And, not have to, chase the NBA as fast because, they're being able to get paid for their name, image, and likeness in college. So I think that might be a big factor of why a lot of people, decide to come back for their third, fourth, second year and just decide to come back to college. I think that plays a big part in it as well.
I'm curious. I mean, you're an interesting test case because had you not gotten hurt, and I was there with you guys in Portland, you might have gone through the draft process, see what what you hear, and then maybe the decision's tougher. Trace Jackson Davis, he was going to go. He gets COVID at the combine. He doesn't even participate. Made his decision easier. What do you think about that perfect storm of NIL, COVID year, where you get another year? You guys had fans this year, and maybe you want more of it. You had sort of a real NCAA tournament. All these factors coming together helped decision makers like yourself decide to return to college.
Yeah, I mean, I just think to myself, the NBA is not going anywhere. And I think for a lot of guys, including myself, you want to be in the best possible state, of mind, body, and spirit, just to be able to go out and showcase your ability to these NBA scouts. And I think with that being said, I don't think I was as healthy and as fully prepared as I could have been going into that summer after the season. And I think because of that, it just forced me to, come to a decision where I think the best interest of myself was to come back for my fourth year.
So you got to the Final Four in the bubble. Then you had an interesting season where there were fans, no fans, normal NCAA tournament, got, a couple of rounds. What is it about college basketball that you've seen evolve over the last couple of years, even with a pandemic, that has made it more appetizing for players like yourself to stay?
I just think, man, college is fun. Just the truth of it all, is fun to be here. It's fun to play with, friends that you've grown up with for a long time. It's great. There's really no other environment like it. The NBA is one thing, but college is something completely different. Guys are out here, doing whatever they can for one another to try to, be for the greater good of the team. And, we're all aiming for one goal, and that's for a national championship. And, when you're here in this stage, man, it's just, there's really nothing like it.
And what's the student athlete experience been like for you at UCLA, save the pandemic time? I mean, outside of that, what's it been like from when you arrived to now?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, there's just so much love here on the campus. Every time I go out, always getting people giving me thanks and praise for, just how we play as a team. And individual accolades and things like that. So we just have a very proud fan base here in LA, and it's really hard to leave, to be honest.
The alumni, who, it's a who's who in college basketball.
Yeah.
But then there's also an incredible list of names, I'm sure, in terms of resources of people that you may be able to meet being at UCLA that could help you beyond whenever your career ends. What is it about being a high profile student athlete that you think can provide benefits, not just, those connections in the sport and beyond?
Man, I think so many. Here at UCLA, we have a tremendous alumni, and before they were able to help in some ways, but I mean, a lot of that they would help after college to be able to get guys paid and be able to help them make some money. But due to NIL being a thing now, it's just happening now, and we don't have to wait anymore, and people are being able to get opportunities that we've never seen before. And, the alumni have been great in helping us with that.
UCLA has always done a great job of integrating the men's basketball team, the highest profile, with all the other sports. What's it like to be, on a campus in an athletic department where there has been a equity of, unbelievable athletes in so many different sports that are treated very well?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Every time you go into the training room, you're seeing either like an Olympian, a champion of some sort. And it's just great to be surrounded by such high profile athletes. And it really allows us to be able to push each other more and more, just because, you see one team win something and then you're like, well, we want to be the guys to win as well. So I think it's a friendly competition around the sports around here, and it just keeps us getting better.
One last thing, Jaime, on this topic, we were faced with the one and dones and people worried about, is that going to hurt the game? And I just feel in the last couple of years that it's completely flipped, where fan bases are getting to know their players because they're staying longer.
Yeah.
How have you seen that from your vantage point?
Yeah, I mean, I think people are starting to realize the benefits of staying. I think people always just want to, go as fast as they can to try to get to the next level. But there's really nothing wrong with just staying one more year and trying to, enjoy yourself in college, do what you need to do to get better and work on things. And, take that extra year. You either take it, in college with everybody, some place where you're comfortable, or, get out of your comfort zone and, be somewhere that, you're not familiar with. And I think people are starting to realize that. And I think that's why so many guys are deciding to come back to college.
Well, I appreciate it, Jaime. I'm so glad you're healthy, and look forward to watching you in the upcoming season.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
And now joining me, Gonzaga's Drew Timme. And Drew, I was with you in Chicago. I thought you were on the fence then. You decided to go back to Gonzaga. What was the main decision as to why you returned to Spokane?
I would say NIL played a huge piece in that. I mean, it's a great opportunity, and I had the opportunity to actually make more money in college than I would have based on where I was slotted to get drafted, to say. So, it's I don't know if NIL wasn't there, it'd be a much easier choice, I feel like.
But to that point, you have a great experience there. You love being a Zag. Gonzaga is woven throughout the Spokane community. What is it about being a high-level, high-profile student athlete at a place like Gonzaga that, even with NIL, makes it a place that you want to return and continue to play?
It's awesome just because, even when I go out and stuff, there's people always want to, take pictures and stuff, but, they also just treat me like a normal person. And I think that's the thing I appreciate most about here is, people, they care about you. They want to see you succeed. But at the end of the day, they're just genuine, good people. And that's something that it's hard to find in a lot of places, a genuine community that really cares about the success of this program and how we do. And I just really appreciate all the love and everything. And it's easy to come back to a place where you feel so welcomed. It really does feel like a second home.
So even before NIL at Gonzaga, players stayed 3-4 years. I mean, of course, there's been a couple that have left after 1 or 2, but for the most part, it has been a program and a school where high profile student athletes want to stay. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it's a great place to get better. I think even personally, like the amount of growth I've had from each year of my career so far, I think it's been pretty crazy. I think even, last year, people were like, can you really grow that much more? And I feel like I took a huge leap. And then I feel like this year I'm going to take a huge leap. Like the way all the coaches push us and really get us better. And then the competition here, like it's so easy to get just way better at everything. Like it's hard to turn that down too, just how much better you get. It's really hard to do. And the coach does such a great job of pushing us and he makes it a place where you want to come back just because it is so much fun here. And he understands the balance of, like college and being an athlete as well. So he's really big on having fun, but getting work done. And I think that atmosphere is just so much fun. And like the family in the locker room, like it's something that's really hard to give up.
What have you seen in terms of the growth of, and I know we had COVID in the middle of it, so got to take that out a little bit, in terms of the benefits of being a student athlete at Gonzaga?
I really like it because it's a smaller college, and you really get to meet and know people. And also, like I said earlier, like people treat you normally, sometimes it's hard to go out or like even like back home, like go with my family, just because like there's a lot of people like they want to like see you, take pictures and stuff. And like up here, they do a good job, just like you feel normal, you feel like a college kid. And that's something that like, I know it sounds silly, but like it's something that I don't like take for granted anymore. It's a nice feeling, to just be normal, I guess.
What about the relationships that you've been able to build, whether they are alumni from Gonzaga who are in the NBA or played in the NBA, or even people that have nothing to do with basketball, but are tied to Gonzaga, that by being a high profile student athlete, you've been able to take advantage of that might help you 5, 10, 15 years from now?
It's great. The connection runs deep. People always come back to the school. I mean, last week we had Kelly Olynyk in here just working out and just lifting with us and working out with us and teaching us things. And then you always just have people like wanting to take care of you, making sure everything's all good, you're okay, and like you're doing good. And then they always let you know, like after you leave, like if you ever need anything, let me know. Like it's a genuine like relationship and bond they have to the school and us, which is it's pretty special.
So you went through the full draft process, and you did it, by the book in terms of what you were allowed to do. What was your assessment of going through that process and then ultimately making a decision to return? That years ago that wasn't the case. If you declared, it was very difficult to return back to school, even if you were talking to an agent and things of that nature. What do you think of the structure right now that's in place for student athletes to go through this process?
I think it's really good and really important. I think sometimes you have to try something out to know what it's about. And sometimes, like you're like, oh, like maybe I am not ready for this, or maybe whatever the reason is, or maybe I do need to go back to school, or like maybe I do need to leave. And I think the NBA has done a great job of giving players the opportunity to like get a feel for things, because it's a lot of workouts and traveling and stuff. And even for me, like I was like, damn, I'm on the road a lot, like going place to place, working out a lot, not really home. And I didn't realize how much of that it really was, to be honest. Like I knew about it, but like to actually go through and experience it, like it's a grind, and it's something that you have to get adjusted to. And I think getting that experience and going through the combine and like all the workouts, it's really prepared me and helped me get ready, for the next go around as well. So I think it was important to get that experience. So, now you kind of know what you're in when you get thrown in the fire like that.
How much do you think the changes the NCAA has made in terms of NIL and the draft process actually may help players return to school, because they're allowed to sort of explore everything and potentially have opportunities when they come back to campus, rather than sort of, in the past, there were so many obstacles to potentially returning?
I think it's huge. I think, sometimes you go in there a lot, especially a bunch of young guys go in there and, like a while I go, like they're stuck. They can't go back. And it's like, what if this kid stayed another year or two? Like, what could he have been? I think there's a lot of what ifs, and they've kind of negated that with this, easy avenue to come back. And I think it's huge. And then NIL obviously is just, it's a huge benefit, you know, because a lot of people do need the money, and there's a lot of people that come from situations that like there's a lot of pressure to leave to help provide for their family and stuff. And I think by being able to get that in college, you give them an easy out to go back and not feel as much pressure on such a life-changing decision. So I think it's definitely a step in the right direction.
You mentioned the word pressure. In a place like Spokane, while they do allow you to be somewhat, you know, have a normal existence, there's pressure, there's expectations. You are going to be one of the faces of college basketball next season. How do you handle it?
I mean, I feel like I kind of was last year, and kind of is what it is. I mean, in our program, we kind of see pressure as a privilege, you know, like, yeah, we're usually ranked number one a lot, and we get everyone's best shot, but we've worked our tails off to be there, to get that. And, you know, we have the hardest non-conference schedule, I feel like, year in and year out consistently. Like, coach has done a great job of building this program up. So he's earned we've earned the right to be in these high attendance games. You know, we're like in Vegas, we have the highest attending game in Vegas. Like, we've earned the right to have that by the work and stuff. So it's definitely a privilege that we've earned the right to be in that pressure. So we don't look at it as a pressure necessarily, but more of like, we've earned the right to have this opportunity.
I appreciate your time as always. And I know we're looking forward to seeing you next season.
You as well. Thank you.
And a big thank you to all three of our guests here on the NCAA Social Series. And as always, you can go to ncaa.org/social series, where all our social series are archived. Thanks for watching, everyone.